Crocodile here again, welcoming you back to another Pokemon Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire Halloween Wi-Fi battle. Today's was against a passerby named JUJE, and he has a pretty threatening team there with the Staraptor, Salamence, Garchomp, Volcarona, you know, like pretty hard hitters on that team. So enough small talk, let's get right into it. This battle's a little on the shorter side. I haven't had a lot of like really long stally battles, but that really isn't reflective on the quality of the battle. It was a pretty close one. So I lead with Alucard, he leads with the Garchomp, and he ends up going for the Rock Slide, which I was a little confused about. And then his Dual Chop misses, so I'm able to get a free Stealth Rock up pretty much. I only took a bit of damage. And yeah. So he's going to withdraw the Garchomp, and once my Stealth Rocks are up, I really don't see any reason for him to stay in, or Alucard, excuse me, to stay in. But I just end up going for the Earthquake for whatever reason. I could have switched out, got a clean switch into the Salamence with a U-turn, but I was silly and stupid. So I'm not too afraid of the Salamence just because I know it usually wants to set up the Dragon Dance, especially on a defensive wall like Alucard is going to want to set up. So I'm just going to U-turn out and get myself a better matchup. And who I decide to switch in is actually Yuki, my Frostlass, because it is wearing the Focus Sash. It's going to survive any hit this Salamence wants to dish out, so the return's gonna bring it down to its sash, and then I can just hit it with a super effective stab Ice Beam, and that Salamence is not living that. I don't care how many buffs to your defenses you get once you Mega Evolve. Salamence, ya ain't shit. So out comes the Volcarona. I made some questionable plays here. I just went for the Destiny Bond, assuming he wanted to take me out. But he's going to see this as a great opportunity to set up Quiver Dances, which, you know, with me in the past, seeing how I still managed to pull out some wins, but Volcarona tends to take out at least 2 or 3 Pokemon on my team before I can take it out. So that's not good. So I just switch into Cersei. I'm going to get the Intimidate off, but I've got the priority and the Sucker Punch on this. So I assume he's going to attack here, but I just, as you'll see, make another misprediction, and oh no, I go for the Sucker Punch. That's right, on the switch he went for the Quiver Dance, and he just goes for the Flamethrower, and that's easily going to one-shot me. Volcarona at +2 special attack, like that's terrifying. So I'm going to switch in Yuki, in quotation marks, who's actually Larry Talbot, the good old, why am I blanking on its name? Zoroark, excuse me. Lots of different nicknames, lots of different Pokemon, so it's hard to keep track of it. So I'm pretty sure he knows that's the Zoroark because Yuki was down to 1 HP just a moment ago. But I'm just going to go for the knockoff, and that's easily going to kill the Ludicolo with this physically strong Zoroark, with the stab on knockoff and such, and Ludicolo's lower defense. So in comes Garchomp. I'm pretty sure this thing's gonna outspeed me. So I end up just going for the safe Sucker Punch to get as much damage as I can before Larry Talbot's gonna faint. And the Rough Skin's gonna do its damage. Life Orb's gonna do its damage. And Garchomp's just gonna go for the Earthquake. That's absolutely gonna fuck Larry Talbot's day up. So yeah, you know what, Larry, you did your job. You took out the Volcarona. You took out that Ludicolo. I didn't even get to see what kind of Ludicolo that was, so that's the way I prefer it, actually. So the real Yuki is gonna come back in and finish off the Garchomp with a quad super effective Ice Beam. None of the dragons on his team appreciated that Ice Beam, and yeah, in comes Machamp. I, for whatever reason, was not expecting the Bullet Punch. I probably could have saved Yuki for later on, but you know what, she's kind of outlived her usefulness on this one. Didn't really get to set up any spikes or anything, but it's kind of a fast-paced battle anyways, so entry hazards aren't the most essential, except for the stealth rocks on Volcarona, of course. But in comes Alucard. I'm just going to hit it with an Earthquake. And these next couple moves on his part are actually a little questionable, because he goes for the Dynamic Punch. Maybe he was just hoping to get some Confuse hacks on me, but Dynamic Punch is resisted by Gligar, and you know what, it's not even going to matter that I'm confused, because I'm going to break through the confusion on this turn. And here, actually, he reveals that he has Ice Punch, so I'm not sure why he didn't go for that in the first place, because that's a 2-hit KO. And he's going to go for the Bullet Punch on this. It's going to miss taking me out, and then Earthquake is just going to be about 5 HP away from taking out the Machamp. So, you know what, Gligar, you brought down Machamp. You did a great job. I'm not going to hold any of that against you. So in comes Lilith. I doubt he wants to go for a Bullet Punch. Like, I mean, maybe just to get as much damage as he can off on me before he's taken out by an attack by me, or by me. But maybe, I think he was thinking that I might get greedy and try and set up. So I just end up going for the Dark Pulse, and that's going to easily take out Machamp, even though it's resisted. So in comes the Staraptor. This thing was the thing I was terrified of the entire game. Choice Scarf Staraptor, just spamming Brave Bird is not a fun time for anyone. So as you're going to see, this Brave Bird is absolutely going to nuke Lilith. She's going to be going down to that, and I think I might be a little bit of a pickle here. I mean, we do have Audrey 2 still in our back pocket, but this is especially defensive Cradily, so I've got pretty good HP, but I'm not sure if it's going to survive a Brave Bird, and it ends up surviving the Brave Bird, and here's when I'm crossing my fingers and toes that Rock Slide doesn't miss, and Rock Slide connects. So down goes the Staraptor. JUJE, that was a lot of fun, that battle. He had a pretty hyper-offensive team on his side. Like, really, and the Ludicolo, from what I saw from the knockoff, was Life Orbed too, so every Pokemon on his team was built to sweep. So that I could get through it with my kind of mishmash of spooky Pokemon who kind of have their different roles. I was a little surprised, but you know, it was a quick battle. Had a lot of fun. Thanks, JUJE. That was a blast. If you guys liked the battle, I know it's a shorter one, but if you liked it, make sure to hit that thumbs up button. If you got any more suggestions for Pokemon I should use in future weeks, make sure you leave a comment down below. I'll be sure to give those a read and take them into consideration. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. I'd sure appreciate it. Take care, everyone. Stay spooky and have a good one. Cheers.